and I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the meeting of August 27 of the Land Management Committee of the Diversion Authority. I have met with General Counsel in preparation for this meeting because there are some questions in my mind. One of the things that I think we need to understand is the Land Management Committee does not have the authority to make any final decisions. We only have the authority to recommend to the Diversion Authority a decision that we think is appropriate and proper. So anything coming out of this meeting today will be only in the way of recommendations. We have received two written communications letters dealing with the land auction results and supporting some of the data that appears in those letters. I would invite a motion to receive and file those letters with our records.
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion, Mr.
Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same? We have someone remote that I'm not sure who it is.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It is Councilmember Deb White. I just was admitted to the meeting.
Thank you, Deb, for identifying yourself. The next item of business is the roll call of the members, and I'd ask the staff, our staff, to do that at this time.
Mr. Flacco. Mr. Stamnes.
Here.
Ms. Derrick.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here. Here.
Is she,
Mr. Gust. Can you hear me
Here.
now? Mr. Gust.
Here.
Mr. Breitling.
here?
Ms. Majo.
Here.
Ms. Turnberg. Mr. Zimmerman.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you.
Did you
The,
make a note that I'm in attendance as well?
Yes, thank you.
the next item of business is the approval of the minutes from July 23, 2025, as published. Is there any discussion concerning the content of that publication? Hearing none, the chair would invite a motion to approve those minutes as published.
Stamps to make that motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second by Campbell.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any further questions or discussion concerning the content of the published minutes? Hearing none, this does not require a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
the same sign. Thank you. The chair will rule the motion carried. The next item of business is the approval of the order of the agenda as published. Are there any changes, corrections, or additions that any of the members want to make at this time? Hearing none, the chair would invite a motion to approve the order of agenda as published.
White moves to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Zimmerman.
Zimmerman seconds. This does not require a roll call vote either. All of those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
the same sign. The motion will have carried. The next item of business is the excess land auction results and update by our staff member, Mr. Fisher. Would you please provide us with a report on that item?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman, and committee members. Today, I want to walk through the excess land auction results and those updates. As added into the meeting packet, there was 6 different properties that were listed, in the Pfeiffer's auction that was held last month. It finalized on July 22nd. This was marketed and advertised for about a month and a half prior as we prepared. There was 6 parcels total, the vast majority being 5 out of 6, really composed of either agricultural usage or former farmsteads in rural settings. Overall, I would say that the bids were very well across all the parcels. We had reserve pricing met prior to the auctions, as you can see in this table, which signified roughly about 50% of what we appraised values at prior. So we did have a benchmark that we wanted to ensure that prices were met at. In doing so, 4 out of the 6 auctions did meet the criteria of that reserve bid option. Those will be proceeding with closing efforts over the next month or so. But of interest and of recommendation today, we do have 2 parcels that I would like to discuss with you. The first one being the Horace Elevator site, which is composed of 3 different OINs. This is roughly 4 acres. We did have a reserve price met at $550,000, with the highest bid being $99,500. It is a price point at which we didn't meet the reserve price, and so based off of that general understanding as set prior to the auction, I am recommending that we reject that offer at this point in time.
The second item?
The second item would be parcel 1926, which is number 6 on the table. And this is roughly a 12-acre former farmstead site. Building was removed, and this parcel was at a reserve price of $35,000. It fell just slightly short at $31,525. Given the geographic location and nearness to that reserve price, we would recommend approval of that auction highest bid, given the nature of the location and also the nearness to that reserve price at this point in time.
You've heard the recommendations of our staff concerning the land auction up results. Are there any questions of our staff in that regard? Hearing none, I would,
Actually, Mr. Chair,
well, go ahead.
thank you. Sorry, Commissioner Breitling. In regards to the number 6, OIN 1926, you know, I've been on this committee for a fair amount of time, and I think there are times in which we have been flexible with the policy in regards to what the reserve is. Is there a certain percentage that we've talked about being nearness of reserve?
In my understanding of past communications with the former lands director as well as our support staff, no, we haven't established any leeway with that number. Given the location as well as the trees, knowing there is encumbrances on it, there is flowage easement, the likelihood is that if it needs to be cropped over, trees will have to be removed or incorporated. Otherwise, it is basically a treed grass site that will not allow for permanent structures to go back into place. So just given the nature of the location and the encumbrances upon it, I would think that the auction bid results in relation to the reserve price would reflect probably what we'd get in the open market.
As I understand the charts, the reserve price that you had established was $35,000,
Correct.
and the bid price was $31,525.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
And please, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's important that we do recognize reserve prices, but I also think we always need to take into consideration how close it is to that reserve price. If, for example, if we were to reject item number 6 that Commissioner Moser was talking about, what would be the cost of all staff and everything to go through and redo everything at the same point in time? First, because my math says we're somewhere around 10%, within the reserve price. And so when something is that close, I think we also need to look at, to redo it and to go back, what would that what would that cost be to us?
Excessive.
And so I guess from that standpoint, I would certainly support item number 6 as it's been presented.
How about the other item that was referred to by our staff? That, my understanding is that they are recommending otherwise as far as that's concerned.
Well, again, in my opinion on that one, there's a significant difference in the percentage. I think we're talking about more like 80% off on what was the reserve price. And the reserve price, as far as, from what I understand, also included some appraisal information that helped us determine what that reserve price was. And I think being that far off, I think I would also support the recommendation on that one to reject that result.
As I understand it, are you making a motion that we?
I'm just giving my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, it's still, if there's, see what other discussion there might be, but.
Are there any other questions or comments that anyone wishes to make?
Yeah, I just had the question on number 6 there, how many separate bids were received? I know multiple bids were received, but how many bidders were on that?
So, on parcel number 6, we received a total of 116 bids, unique bids. And they could be the same bidder, but.
Yeah, that's why I was curious if you knew how many actual independent or unique bidders
Yes.
there were.
Yeah, parcel number 16 received, parcel 6 received 116 bids for that offer.
But you don't know if it was 5 bidders or anything?
No,
like that?
I haven't sought that clarity, and I could probably get that information from Pfeiffer's as well.
But still, I mean, even that many individual ones shows that there was strong interest in probably what the market was gonna drive for a cost anyway, in my opinion.
I see we have a commissioner with their hand up. Is that you, Ms.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. White?
Yes, it is. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm, in regard to the Horace elevator, well, first of all, I support both the staff recommendations. And with that one, I mean, that's a very different parcel of land. And I'm wondering if I don't even know what they have in terms of work on economic development in Horace, but is there folks that we've spoken with that would have a sense of future development in that area and what they might be able to do to help market it better or differently to sort of meet, because obviously Horace is a rapidly growing community, and that might be something that we can hold on to for now, and it might be something that would be more beneficial in the future, but I would support both recommendations.
As I understand, the recommendations of the staff are that we refer to the diversion authority, the elevator situation, for the purpose of referring that to a real estate firm to try to market it for us. And that we also then approve number 6 as well as the other 4. Is that the understanding of this group? Hearing no objection, I'd accept a motion that we proceed to recommend to the full diversion authority those 2 items as provided us by our staff.
Mr. Chair, I would make such a motion.
Is there a second?
Stamus seconds.
Are there any other comments or discussion concerning these items? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think it's important to acknowledge the letters that we received. I think that's important for that. But given the vast difference, I'm curious in just how we proceed with marketing something like this. I believe that site was purchased at a significant amount, and we have the opportunity to recoup some funds for public. These are public dollars, and so. Oh, sorry. No, that's all right. But what I'm saying is, I appreciate Horace's perspective, because I think Horace really wants what's best for something that's really a cornerstone of their community. But the challenge is, it is a unique site, and I think about Commissioner Mary Sherling that served on this board that said we must market it in such a unique way because it is a unique parcel. And it's with that I would support also the motion and second.
Do you have the exact language of the referral as to a private contractor or realtor?
No, we don't have exact language up. What our goal is, though, in light of the Horace Elevator site being commercial, which deviates dramatically from historic excess land sales in a lot of ways, we would seek expertise towards commercial real estate and realtor, not only to understand, we do have an appraisal from December of 2023 that does include some of the estimated costs for elevator removal, for instance. So we do have an understanding, but as part of that, bringing in that expertise for not only marketing, but aid in the sale of that property would be ideal.
Are there any further questions concerning the recommended referrals to the Diversion Authority? This would require a roll call vote, and I would ask our staff to do so at this time.
Mr. Stammes?
Yes.
Ms. Derrick?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Borboom?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Mr. Gust?
Yes.
Mr. Breitling?
Yes,
Ms. Mongeau?
Yes.
And Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
That is everyone.
thank you. The other item that we have of any significance is the excess land update for the Horace Rail Corridor, and I'd ask Mr. Fisher to provide us with a report on the status of that development.
Again, thank you, Chairman, Committee. On August 5th, Member Gust, as well as Mr. Eric Dodds, had the opportunity to meet with 8 out of the 10 landowners that would be north of the railroad corridor. And the premise of the discussion was to talk about not only interest, but discuss our excess lands policy and reaffirm, per the committee recommendation, that it's 50 cents per square foot as offered to them. The discussion was fruitful. I think there was great discourse that occurred during that discussion. But still, at this point in time, we haven't had full confirmation of all individuals. That being said, as part of the update, we wanted to ensure that we gave that to the committee today. The next steps, if we don't get concurrence from adjacent landowners, would be to move in our excess lands policy, which would then move this parcel potentially towards the public sale. In its given nature, knowing that we have invested money in the ballast removal, we've got topsoil vegetation, I think it'd be prudent in our position right now to ensure that that vegetation does get established. We're managing and not be in too much of a hurry to offload this property until we feel like we're in the position in doing so.
Is that the recommendation of the staff?
That is a recommendation of the staff at this point in time.
Are there any questions? Yes,
Thanks,
please.
Mr. Chair. If we decide to sell it as an entire property, all as one, is it our responsibility, or the DA's responsibility to talk to the homeowner of that property over the line to remove it, or is that be the responsibility of the person that actually purchases the property?
That's a great question. I do know that we do see personal property within the boundary. I think it'd be prudent on both sides, and that a land transaction is potentially going to happen. It would be insightful for you likely start thinking about the removal of those items, and future discussions will have to occur, but I think it would be beneficial from both sides.
Any other questions or comments?
I do.
Please.
Yeah. So how many individual parcels put up to that?
There's 10 different
10,
homes.
and how many of them have expressed interest in the affirmative?
So we have roughly 80% concurrence that it's something that they would want to do. But of that, not all are willing to pay at that 50 cents a square foot. I think that in the past, we have considered 50 cents a square foot because it's residential, adjacent residential, to be an appropriate rate. I think it was as identified last month. If it was going to agricultural production, that rate would be fairly high when we calculate it out to the acre value. So at this point in time, I am of the belief that we don't have 50% fully committed to that 50%, or excuse me, that 50 cents per square foot rate.
Is there any possibility that in time we could achieve 100% of that 10 track?
That I'm uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty with it. I think the longer we wait without planning what the next steps are, I think we may see changing of mines too at maybe a lower price since we aren't selling it at this current point in time as well. I think that we could be a little more proactive moving forward and try to go after one more round of communicating with the landowners and seeing if this is something they want to fully come through with. But I know at its current state, we have platted those properties, but they are not recorded. And so this is still the proposed boundaries. It hasn't been recorded fully. So moving it over to the next step of the excess lands would be that full entire parcel.
Are there any other questions or comments? Any discussion that should take place at this time? This does not require any action one way or the other. We will be reporting to the Diversion Authority Board this status update and request them to defer any further action pending our staff continuing to meet with the property owners. Is there any objection to that process? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item of the agenda, and that's other business. Is there any member of the committee that has other business that they would want to bring before this group at this time? Hearing none, the next meeting will be determined. It will be next month, but the exact date has not yet been chosen. I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at this time.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Derek seconds.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion has been approved. Thank you for coming out on a busy afternoon.